Good morning, sports fans. It's time for a morning edition of the Sports Buffet. You can see on the screen, we've got a very special guest today from Bartlett High School. They're in Bartlett, Tennessee. Mr. Parker Jackson. Let's get Parker in here. As you can see, we got John Sturdivant in here as well. John, let's give us a little background on Parker.
Yeah, Parker is I call him one of the best players out there in the Memphis area. And he does a little bit of pitching, and he also does a little bit of outfield for Bartlett High School Painters. But also, he's a recent graduate of the Bartlett High School in general as well, class of 2024. So, one of the biggest high school senior classes out in the Memphis area as well. So, Parker, welcome to the Sports Buffet Morning Edition with Wes and I.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys for having me.
Let's get to know Parker Jackson just a little bit more in detail on who is Parker Jackson. Parker, what is your pregame meal before each ball game?
I'd say my pregame meal is I just go to the concession stand. I'll give me a cheeseburger and a Coke and snack on that in the locker room before the game.
All right. What is your favorite baseball team growing up? Major League.
My favorite baseball team's the Yankees.
All right. The show's over. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I figured.
I'm just messing with you. There's a joke behind that. But favorite baseball player growing up?
My favorite baseball player growing up was probably Brett Gardner. I was watching him for the Yankees playing in the outfield.
Okay, I gotta give you a little bit of love for that one. Okay, that's pretty good. Favorite college baseball team?
My favorite college baseball team is probably North Carolina.
All right, why North Carolina?
I really don't know. One day I think I just turned on the TV and North Carolina was playing, and then ever since then I just kind of followed with them, and then I started buying North Carolina apparel. Just started rooting for them.
We know you're also a University of Memphis fan, so we'll get this. Your whole family is, in other words, a University of Memphis fan. So I'm sure we can talk a little bit more Memphis stuff going down the road here a little bit. But
Yeah, for sure.
Parker, for sure. Wes can go ahead with the first question out there for Parker. Other than let's get to know Parker like I just did.
So, Parker, I know that the Bartlett baseball team made a nice little run this year.
Yes, sir.
So let's talk about the season as a whole. How did it go for you from beginning to end, and what are your thoughts on how the season transpired?
Yeah, sure. So, beginning of the season, we started off pretty strong, and then we hit a couple of bumps down the road. And then towards the end of the season, we all started really coming together, and then the team chemistry, I guess, helped us. And then towards come tournament play, once again, we just started playing together, and that helped us knock off Houston and then make a little run towards the end.
So, what is it? I mean, because when you look at the history of Bartlett High School baseball, it's very, very top notch. I mean, that's an organization that's been around for ages and always seems to have talented teams year in, year out. You did run into a Arlington baseball team this year that is absolutely on fire. So talk a little bit about that Bartlett Arlington rivalry. I'm pretty familiar with it, but talk a little bit about it from a player perspective.
Yeah, I mean, I remember ever since I was in probably 5th or 6th grade, my dad going to take me to watch Bartlett and Arlington play, and the games were always packed. And growing up with all those kids, just playing travel against them every year, it just kind of is like that friendly love-hate rivalry. On field, you hate them. Off field, you love them. But everybody wants to win that game.
Who were some guys on that team that you kind of built some camaraderie with?
I grew up playing against Parker Peeler, one of my good buddies, Jack Pitts, Jack Hibbard, Carter McKay. I got to know Peyton Goolsby a little bit this year, and then also Nathan Reed a little bit as well.
Very nice, very nice. So, Parker, when you look at your baseball career, Parker's baseball career as a whole, what are some moments that you may look back in 5 or 10 years and be really proud of?
I would say off the top of my head, this year us beating Arlington. I don't think I'll ever forget that. Like you said, the rivalry, it's just massive, and I don't think I'll ever forget that.
Go ahead, John.
I was going to say beating Houston also in the district tournament. Was probably one of the best games of your senior year as well, and it gave a little bit of people a lot of shock all across the state of Tennessee in that one, especially when a certain pitcher did pitch that game, Dave Taylor Day. But that's another topic for another day. But everybody's still like, are you surprised that Chandler didn't pitch that game? Which I'm sure y'all were probably the game plan going into that game. I'm sure y'all were probably ready to face Chandler, and
Oh,
then when y'all said okay, y'all realized he wasn't going to throw. We were like, either way, we still have a shot to win this game, but now even a better chance of winning this game as well because nothing against Houston or anything like that. But I think the same thing regarding Carville right now, where Carville is basically, I don't think they got the 1, 2, 3 punch starter pitching like they used to.
yeah.
So Carter, talk about your coaching staff. Shout out to Coach Josh Stewart, who's been there for like at least 20 years, it seems now, who basically took over for Coach Phil Clark, legendary Coach Phil Clark, I might add. Just talk about your coaching staff and also Coach Stewart just a little bit in general. So we got to give some coaching shout outs as well on the show.
Yeah, for sure. All those guys are great guys. They've helped me. I can't even really put into words. Coach Stewart, of course, Coach Clark, Coach Kirby, Coach Calloway, all of them. Just hitting, pitching, really anything I need. Fundamentals, arm care, anything I need.
So Parker, looking back, the last 2 years have not basically. I know from a record perspective, the goal this year was basically to win that state championship in general. But just talking about your special teammates along the way as well. I know you're basically getting a lot. This is the year that the senior class actually is graduating. A lot of seniors and also a lot of players are actually playing ball at the next level. So, what can you say about your 2024 class in general at Bartlett High School?
Yeah, I love those guys. But I grew up with some of those guys ever since I can remember. Me and my buddy Tylen, we've been playing alongside each other ever since we were probably 4 or 5 years old. And then some of the other ones, 10, 11, 12. But it's going to kind of hurt a little bit to let all those guys go. Just growing up with them ever since 6th, 7th grade, even younger than that.
Go ahead, Wes.
Parker, when you look at your baseball game, as far as obviously pitching, pitching, batting, all that, what are some things that you want to really hone in on and really improve your craft? I guess would be the way to word it prior to your next step, which we're getting ready to talk about shortly.
I'd say probably just working on hitting for more power, which probably just comes with putting on weight, being in the weight room more. And then also probably just improving my overall baseball IQ.
So when you talk about hitting, I know pitch recognition is something very, very talked about at all levels of baseball, especially at the professional level. What are some things that you do? I know that in today's day and age, you kids, and I know I'm not trying to make you sound extremely young or me or extremely old when I say that, but you guys nowadays are using virtual reality to play to practice and things like that. What are some more innovative ways that you're using to try to improve these things?
I'd say before every game we hit batting practice usually at the facility, and then sometimes we'll have the pitch machine throwing fastballs, curveballs. So I'd say really the main thing is just really focusing and locking in during BP.
So Parker, let's talk a little bit about what's next. So John, go ahead there.
Parker, before we go, what's next? Let's go discuss some of the games that were actually being played yesterday for our listeners. I know you know the area as much, because you got to see some of these teams on your senior schedule. So Hey, let's start out with good old some 4A action, shall we? I know there's a lot of people like not only in the Memphis area, they want to see how the other teams are doing in the local area. So we got to see Arlington yesterday. They won 3-0 over Henry County, and it looks like game two will be played tonight at 5 o'clock. And of course, this is the best out of three format for sub-state. So what do you think going forward for Arlington Tigers? What do you think the Arlington Tigers need to do to go back to state?
Really, I just say keep doing what they're doing. I mean, that's a very good team. They got arms, they have bats, they have speed. They really have it all. I'd say they just need to stay hot and just keep doing what they're doing, and they'll be okay.
Yeah, game two will be at 5 o'clock, and then the game three right after that. It to be determined like at 7 o'clock if they do play that game for game three. Hey, like we just talked about, Collierville, man, they are struggling hitting the ball as of late, and they're also struggling throwing the pitching the ball as of late as well. Where they lost yesterday 11-0 to Clarksville. Clarksville's 37-7 for one. Collierville basically got a tougher draw than Arlington, I believe, but what can Collierville do to get bounced back? I know they're probably going to pitch their Tennessee commitment, who's only a junior today as well, because it's an elimination game. So if they win that, they play again later on today. So what can Collierville do to stay alive in your books?
I'd say just let Ari go out and do his thing, because I mean, knowing Ari, he's most likely going to go out there and have himself a day. And I'd say just play behind him, use bats, hit well, and then after you win game one, I'd just say keep the momentum, stay hot, roll that into game three, and then win it all.
All right, some 3A action. Dyer County ended up beating Mufford 2-0 yesterday. So Dyer County is going on to state in Rutherford next week. Dyer County beat Mufford 4-1, and Dyer County also beat them 2-0 yesterday. So what can the Choctaws do in the state tournament that maybe can impress some people going forward?
Yeah, we played them at USA Stadium earlier this year. That's a good team. That's a solid team. Against us, they hit very well. Their pitching wasn't really anything stellar, but I mean they threw strikes, made their defense made plays. So I'd say if they can keep that up, they should be okay.
All right, Covington, another team that you're familiar with. They're on your schedule as well this past couple of years. They beat South Gibson yesterday 2-1 in 11 innings, but they also lost yesterday 5-0. So now they're going to be playing a game on Friday, weather permitting. There is some rain in the forecast. So what can the Chargers do to protect that home field to go to state?
I'd say they just stay hot. Covington's always been a good team as well. They've always hit pretty well. So I'd say if they can just keep the bats hot, keep rolling, they'll be okay.
Absolutely. Um, Lakeland, a team that pretty much only has a freshman and a sophomore class, I believe, right now. They did go to sub-state, but there's nothing to be ashamed of for that one. They lost to Milan 2 games yesterday, 8-2 and 10-1. So, what can you tell the upperclassmen that are going to be joining Lakeland next year and they'll get 3 years under their belt under a sub-state possible run?
I'd say enjoy it while it lasts. It flies by. And also, never take it for granted. Also, again, it'll go by faster than you think.
Absolutely. So basically, in 1A, they got Hillcrest playing Halls. I do think nothing against our competition here in Shelby County or whatever, but I think Halls can beat Hillcrest in 2 games just because Halls got more pitching and also more at bat, like hits wise. Middle College, same boat. They play Union City today at USA Stadium. I think Union City also can probably win those 2 games as well. So another 2A teams that we're kind of familiar with. Hey, we got Parker. You got to see North Point the last couple weeks ago, where they lost to Providence Academy yesterday, 6-2 and 9-5. But it looks like the future looks pretty bright for North Point and the Trojans.
Yeah, for sure. They have a couple of dudes. I grew up playing travel ball with them, yeah, EBC ball with them the past couple of years. I know they have their Arkansas commit. I believe it's Kale Farr. That kid's legit. He can chunk. And then also, I think they have some good bats coming back as well. And I also know they have a good head coach over there. So they just keep doing what they're doing. They'll be good to go next year.
I also noticed when they played y'all just a couple weeks ago, they got a center fielder that's going to West's neck of the woods at University of Arkansas too next year, possibly.
Yeah.
So I see West. That's one reason I'm giving you a shout out for that one because North Point is getting. I mean, University of Arkansas fans, you're getting a good center fielder from the North Point Trojans for next year. Lausanne lost to two tough ones yesterday. You also get to see Lausanne throughout the year. They lost 4-3 yesterday in 8 innings, and they also lost another heartbreaker, 1-0. So, what can you say to our listeners about the Lausanne Lynx?
Yeah, that's another solid team. I know they also have I believe it's an Ole Miss commit. Uh I know it's one of the Doty twins. I think it's Christian, I believe. But he's a solid player. I think he just had Tommy John though, but I don't think that'll really affect him. He's great in the field, great hitting. He's just an all-around guy.
Gotcha. All right, in 2AA, Christian Brothers ended up beating Innsworth yesterday 5-1. So, what does the Purple Wave need to do to protect their home field against the Innsworth Tigers in Game 2 and possibly Game 3?
I'd say just keep doing what they're doing. I know Christian Brothers, that's a good team. We scrimmaged them. I think that was our first scrimmage of the year, actually. But that's a good team. I have a couple of buddies on that team as well. But yeah, it's a solid team.
Yeah, it looks like their pitching is also coming together as well. And heck, when you got a pitching coach as your head coach or a pitcher Hall of Famer from the St. Louis Cardinals as your head coach and Jason Mott,
Yeah.
you know you're doing pretty well over there at Christian Brothers. The team that you're also familiar with because you got a good friend connection, Aiden McCready over at Briarcrest. And my question is, will they pitch him in Game 2 or they pitch him in Game 3 possibly against Brentwood Academy, who has an assistant coach that we're familiar with, Les and Jordan Rogers. They beat Brentwood Academy yesterday 8-0, and Game 2 is at 4 o'clock, and Game 3 is possible at 6:30. So if you're Briarcrest and Coach Hopkins over there, would you pitch Aiden McCready Game 2 or Game 3?
I talked to Aiden last night. Aiden said that I think that Jack Gleason's going to go Game 2, and then he's going to go Game 3 if possible. He said I think they're just going to go ahead and try to just go ahead and win it out. And then they threw Finn Waters last night.
And he stood out completely.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I've never got a chance to see him throw, but every stat line I've seen, he's been crazy.
I tell you what, Briarcrest has definitely been hitting the ball as of late. They're running rolling people as of late as well. And like we talked about, I think they got the 1-2-3 punch where they can definitely win the state title this year when they get the pitching. But like you said, they got Waters yesterday. They got Jack, who's winning Mississippi State next year. And then they got Aiden McCready, who possibly could play after maybe at a few years at the D2 level. If he, decides to go elsewhere, I think, he could basically be D1 before it's all said and done at Delta State next year, Aiden McCready. So, Parker, going on, what's your next step? What is your next step, Parker? Turns out you're going to Jackson State Community College. And what can you say about the Jackson State baseball team?
I went on a visit there. I think it was about a month ago. Coach took me in, showed me around, showed me the campus, locker room, baseball field, everything like that. And I loved it. Then I talked to the coach some more, and then I ended up committing. But I'm super excited. I've heard they got a good staff, good team. Everything around there is awesome, so I just can't wait.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, Wes.
So, Parker, speaking of what's next, let's talk a little bit about Bartlett. Obviously, you being a senior, you know what that program's got moving forward. Who are some guys that not just the people in Bartlett, but the people around Memphis need to look out for maybe that's coming through the ranks of Bartlett High School?
Yeah, we have a couple of key guys returning. We have Luke Lloyd. He'll either be DHing or playing right field next year. And then we also have Paul Brignoli. He's probably going to be, I want to say, our best on the mound next year. And he'll probably play a little bit of outfield as well. And then we also have, he's going to be a sophomore. We have Robert. He's young, but he's still good. But once he develops and settles in, I think he's going to be really good.
Parker Jackson from Bartlett High School has joined us this morning on the Sports Buffet. Parker, we just talked about it. You're going over to Jackson State. What is it about that school from an academic standpoint that has you really excited? I know you're excited about the athletic side, but as we all know, you're a student athlete, right? So, what
Yeah.
about it on the academic side of things has you excited?
Yeah. So, coach took me around campus, walked me in all the classrooms, and also noticed the classrooms are not huge, so it's more kind of a one-on-one type teaching, not just just a lecture. And I feel like I'm way better learning if I get actual instruction instead of just listen there to a teacher just talk and talk. So I'm excited about smaller classroom sizes, just getting more help when I really need it.
Very nice. You get a little more attention, I guess, from the student side of things. That's always good. It's always good. So, one last question from me: what are some goals that Parker has set for himself for next year as a student first, but secondly as an athlete?
Yeah, of course. I would like to get in there. Of course, not fall behind in any classes. Hopefully, maintain a 3.0, maybe a little higher grade point average, and then really just get all my stuff done. Don't really procrastinate it till the last second. Just go ahead and get it done, get it knocked out.
Very nice. Very nice. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, what about the baseball part of it? So, what's the second part? What do you look like? What kind of goals do you have for your freshman year?
Yeah, so freshman year, of course, I'd love to come in there and start center field. But I mean, if not possible, I'd still love to contribute somewhere, whether it's base running, just playing the outfield, maybe DH and pinch hitting. Just really however I can contribute to the team. And then, of course, for the team goals, I want us to, of course, go all the way, win the championship. Is
Yeah, man. I'm not laughing at this next question, but this this whole last 4 years, man, like regarding the scheduling, it's going to get you ready for this post or this JUCO ball, man. Because look at your JUCO teams in general; they're no sleepover either. Because I see a Peru Southwest team under Coach Rock. I see a Dyersburg State team that's still pretty good. I see a Walter State team. They might have fell part in the district or the region tournament this year. The Walter State is Walter State.
yeah,
And of course, you see Jackson State definitely improving because not only they recruiting the Jackson area pretty well in the Dyersburg region, but they're also recruiting Shelby County as well, pretty good as of late as well. But hey, like I told you, that schedule with the region itself that we had with Collierville and Houston, all them,
yeah,
it's definitely in our non-conference schedule. It's definitely going to get you ready for this JUCO season. So, Parker, my last question: what can you tell a player right now that is going through the recruiting process, but they haven't actually committed yet, and they're still looking to see what they can do going forward regarding college baseball or any other sport in general?
yeah. I would say just take your time. I mean, there's really no rush. I'd say really see out all your options. Maybe if you're really interested, go on a couple of visits just to get really kind of hands on with the campus, talk to the coaches, and then I'd say figure out which one you like best and then make your decision.
Parker, what can if people can follow you on social media, where can they find you at?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram. Instagram is Parker. It's just Parker Jackson, but no Owen Jackson. So it's just Parker and then JACKSN.
Parker, great job as always, man. Look forward to seeing you down the road. Look forward to if you ever want to come back on with us, just let us know. We'll definitely talk
Yeah.
some JUCO baseball with you, and even college baseball when the NCAA tournament starts for college baseball. So if you ever want to come on and talk some college baseball with us as well, just let us know. And because I know you watch college baseball and other sports as well. Real quick, who you got in the NBA Finals?
I really don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I really have no idea. I've been trying to keep up, but every time I keep up, there's always an upset happening. So I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like really at this point it could go anyway.
Like I said, Parker, great job as always, and thanks for coming on. Go ahead, Wes.
Yeah, Parker Jackson absolutely knocked it out of the park. No pun intended. I know he's a baseball player, but he knocked this interview out of the park, man. We thank you very much for coming on. We know that Bartlett High School is going to enjoy this interview, all the people around Bartlett, but we're hoping we can even spread this over to your upcoming school as well to try to let them learn a little bit about who is Parker Jackson. But Parker, thank you very much for coming on with us today this morning on the Sports Buffet. We really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you guys for having me.
No problem, man.
Parker Jackson is joining us this morning. John, he did an amazing job, man. We got a little bit more action. We got a little breakfast blend for you this morning. A little sausage, a little egg, little bacon. But this afternoon we got a little bit bigger plate as we're talking a little. Sorry, not American Football League, the Arena Football League. As we bring on a league insider and a no pun intended. He's definitely a league insider. He plays inside line for the defensive line side of things. And that's Mr. O.B. Goodson.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, especially when a lot of teams are now folding in the Arena Football League. We don't know the whole story on it, but it definitely does not look good for a lot of teams right now because one, they're not traveling this weekend, and then I hate it for the players, also because there's some stories out there that they're not getting paid at all, and I'm definitely looking forward to hearing from Anthony Carter regarding that, and looking forward to hearing from Ob Goodson. Talk about how Albany football arena football team is doing, and then also a little bit of Memphis football talk with him.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of Memphis football, if you head over to our social media pages on Facebook and on Twitter, it's at the number 4 Star Sports M. You'll see a couple of graphics that we've got built. A little menu graphic for Memphis football if you're hungry for some Tiger football. And then we've got a little graphic that's an actual article about a opposites attract as a player went from one end of the state to the other as a former University of Tennessee Volunteer is now a Memphis Tiger. So head over there and we will get these shows updated on our website just as soon as we can today. But John, great job on the first part, man. And we're hoping we can knock out the second part as well. Gonna go ahead and hit the music and close this one out. But thank you very, very much for everybody watching and listening.